Welcome everyone. I wanted to bring you up to date on what's going on in the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. As far as I know, there is still no power on Marco Island. I'm trying to get back there now. Not a good sign. The last traffic light I went through was still not operating, and I'm not on the island yet. I'm about 3 miles from the Jolly Bridge, which takes you onto Marco Island. And I drove around Marco, was it yesterday? I've been there twice now since the hurricane. Once at night and I guess I was only there once. I tell you, my mind is just frazzled. There is so much stuff been going on since the hurricane. But the time I was there, it was nighttime, so none of the traffic lights were working. There was there were a few lights working, and no lights anywhere. I didn't see lights on people's homes. I didn't see lights in businesses. I saw a few lights that I assumed were being powered by generators. But other than that, the place was pitch black. So we're going over the bridge now. And as you can see, it's a beautiful day. And to look out there, you wouldn't think anything happened. But we'll see when we get on the island. You would never know a hurricane had gone through. There's not a cloud in the sky, except for all the damage. You can still see all the debris on the roadside. They've had a few days to start cleaning things up now. Coconuts and palm fronds everywhere. As I look down the side streets, we're coming up to a traffic light now. It's working, so that's a good sign. But as I look down the side streets, I see a lot of debris and lots of building materials that have apparently been ripped off of buildings. Remember, we were not hit directly. We weren't in the eye of the storm, but we had a lot of, oh wow, here's a bunch of rubble. So we didn't really get the worst of it down here. But Marco was completely flooded, and as far as I know, power hasn't been restored. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So here is another traffic light, and you can see that it's operating. But flooding is a terrible thing, and the pictures I saw of Marco being flooded were terrible. The picture I saw, you could just see the top of the hedges in the middle of the median. So that means that there was probably 3 to 4 feet of flooding on this road I'm driving on right now. There are some cars in the parking lot of Winn-Dixie, so that's a good sign as well. And some of these high rises, very good chance that it got into the elevator shafts. I know that happened in the past, and it makes those inoperable for a long time, so people can't get up to to their condos and their apartments. And you can see all the debris on the roadside, so cleanup efforts have begun, and so many of these palm trees have been completely wiped out. There is no top to the palm trees anymore. And I don't know, but I would guess that means all those trees are going to have to be removed and replaced. Okay, now the traffic signal behind me that I just went through was not operational. So as I get to the south end of the island, it's looking like there might have been a lot more damage. A lot more debris is all over the place. So I'm down here in the south end of Marco Island, and lots of standing water. Caxambas Park, which is where people go fishing, and they launch boats, and the jet ski tours go from there. They're closed. Gates are closed. They're not letting people get in. And I saw a lot of standing water in there as well. Here's Caxambas. This is where the Coast Guard is located. I see lots of water in there. It might not be showing up on video, but I see that you can't get in. It's gated down. Look at that big tree over the sign. It's gated down there, and I'm gonna guess that it's not a good place to be right now. And you can see the gullies are filled with water. Those are typically dry. So there is still water that hasn't receded, but it's a lot better. This is so great. People are cleaning up everywhere. I just love seeing the cleanup efforts. I just saw an old man dragging, had to be a 12-foot palm frond out of the middle of the road. I had to roll down the window and say thank you to him. I just love that people are just making these little efforts, anything they can do to return to normal life. And the public seems to be open. The lot is full. And here we're coming up to another traffic light that is not active. I'm seeing lots of furniture, lots of trees ripped out by the roots, lots of debris. Well, the good news is there was power. I did ride an elevator, and maybe I shouldn't have, because one of my concerns is that I'm going to guess things like elevators are going to have to undergo inspections after a disaster like this. I'm not sure. I've never been through one of these, but it just makes sense to me. So I have high hopes. I'm feeling pretty good about the island being back. As you saw, the store was open. I know there's some electricity, some traffic lights are still out, but these are all good signs. So thanks for joining me, and I will keep you informed as to what's going on down here in Southwest Florida.